Are you ready to embark on a transformative journey? Hi, I am Sharon Kumara, host of Awaken Soul. By tuning into Awaken Soul Radio, you will be inspired to shed the illusions that bind you, connect more deeply with your inner wisdom, and step into a liberating life of freedom, clarity, and purpose. Each episode, I share stories and lessons learned that help cultivate greater compassion, patience, and understanding, qualities to embody in everyday life. I invite you to join in as we expand our awareness, exploring diverse topics, and gain access to practical tools, guided exercises, and expert advice to help overcome fears and break the chains that bind us. Join us on Awaken Soul. Your journey to freedom and true self begins here. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Awakened Soul podcast, radio show, and also Ascension Gateway, if you're watching there. Thank you for being here. I am your host, Sharon. I try to say Sharon Sananda Kumara. That's who I am today, okay? Tomorrow might be different. Who knows? But yeah, that's who I am. That's the name I claim at this time and space. And thank you, everyone, for being here. And today is our second podcast on the way of mastery, the teachings of Christ, such good stuff. And so Christina, my good friend Christina and Renee are going to dive into lesson 3 of the way of the heart. And I'm feeling it already. Yeah. And so we're very, very happy to be here and to be able to connect and go through this this amazing study material. Hi, Christina.
Hello, Sharon. Thank you so much for having me back on your podcast. And I'm feeling it too, right here in my heart.
Yeah.
And I'm really grateful that we get to talk about lesson 3, which is all about the power of forgiveness today as we're recording on 9/11.
Mm-hmm.
It's no mistake that this is where we are right now.
No, not at all. There's a lot going on at this time. So, yeah, the power of forgiveness is huge, huge for all of us. Doesn't matter where you stand in life, right? It's a really, and I believe it's a really big deal. And we were talking a little bit before we started recording that it's an ongoing process. It's not something that you just say, "Oh yeah, well I've forgiven that," or I've forgiven this, or I've forgiven them, whoever. It's still ongoing. We go through, and Christina, I want you to share what you were talking about, that we go through layers, right? When we think that we're there at this point of whatever, forgiveness, or something not triggering us or bothering us again, and then we find out, oh, there's more. Right?
Yeah. So as we're recording this, today is September 11th, and yesterday there was a school shooting and a Republican conservative activist who was assassinated. And this morning I opened up social media and I just saw an extreme amount of blame and division. And it does affect me that people are dying because collectively we are choosing fear instead of love. But what really stood out that caused me to contract and to go into fear today was seeing the amount of division. And in lesson 3, it clearly states on page 30 in the Veil of Projection, it says that, I'll read it verbatim, but nothing can occur, nothing you experience has been caused by anything outside of you. And so I noticed, okay, so I am projecting out a very large picture of division, of a split. And what I got immediately was my own split, where I'm not fully committed to. I'm stuck between truth and illusion, or completely, fully letting go of ego and choosing God and choosing love. And immediately I felt some relief. And and right after that, there was more contraction. So it's almost as if that was the bigger opening to seeing all the other smaller pieces where I'm hooked into duality, I guess, good, bad, right, wrong.
Yeah.
And it takes, he talks about vigilance. The next section actually is awakening requires vigilance and discipline. And
Mhm.
it really does. I feel like this morning I'm actually living out this lesson, because that's what's been happening all morning. Now that I'm aware of it and I'm willing to choose the truth, I just keep seeing all the places where I'm in duality, where
Yeah.
there's a divide within me.
Hmm. Yeah. And that's a difficult thing, I believe. And in my own experience too, because we exist in a realm of duality. We have the masculine, the feminine, like you said, the good, the bad, light and dark, which is fine. Um, and we in our last show we talked about judgment, right? Did we talk about that?
Yeah,
I think
I
we
believe
did.
we did. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I can, from my own experience, I can see how I would go through the world being judgy, all the time. Um, my boyfriend calls it, oh, you're up on Mount Judgment today or something like that. And, and I realize it comes from my own history and my own judgments about me. And Christ helped me remember that right here, what you decree is, and everything. You had a line there that everything within you is you create, or something like that. I forget. It's
Nothing
from
you experience, nothing you experience has been caused by anything outside of you.
Thank you. Yes. It's all coming from within us and how we feel about ourselves and how we see ourselves, because we are all one anyway. We are God in expression, right? So
Yes.
I was judging myself. I still do every once in a while. It's it's diligent work for sure. And when I start judging others, I realize, okay, and I think about it, feel it, into it, meditate on it. What is it that I'm bringing to this creation? Because we're all co-creating together. So we agreed to this experience, right? And he talks about that too. We agreed to all this.
Mm-hmm.
We have some agreement in it. So what is my role here? And how can I make it better?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think that's one of like a huge point to make within this lesson that is different, that differs from what we're taught forgiveness is. And he
Hmm.
says many times it takes one to know one, that we have a phrase here that it takes one to know one. So when we are judging, it is because we are seeing parts of ourselves that we're not willing to own, or something
Yeah.
that we have done that we still have a little bit of guilt for. We are seeing that actually in someone else, and that's actually why we judge it. And so the forgiveness, which is, a real perception shift, like a complete 180 from what, I was taught forgiveness was. He says forgiveness is letting people off the hook from your projected perception.
Right. Right. It's like Ho'oponopono. It's the same thing. And I was
Yeah.
looking at a line here that reminded me so much of Ho'oponopono. This is the third time I've been through this book, but it's like I should have everything memorized. I know you've been through it a few times too.
It's
Uh,
my third time too.
yeah. Right.
Not
Uh,
a coincidence.
no, I know it's not. Uh, and but Ho'oponopono is I love you, I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you. And it's the same thing that I love myself, the divine. Please forgive me. I love you. I'm sorry. I'm sorry for for putting my stuff on you, on this situation, on you or whatever, the stuff that I have going on within me. I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Please forgive me for projecting that onto the field, and please forgive me. And so we're asking for forgiveness for ourselves, which because it all comes from within. Yeah, it's yeah, it's so much. Go.
Yeah.
I just feel
Okay.
it. I just saying it. I feel.
I know. And it just, again, it just keeps coming up for me where um when you really take on forgiveness from this view, I can't I can't look at the news or social media or the events, anything about the events or any posts, personal posts about the events yesterday without, like, I can't judge it anymore. I can't point the finger. I can't say, "Oh, that's awful," or I can't say, "Oh, that," because it's my creation for my healing. And so it's like, and then even within that, there's a little bit of guilt, right? Like, and this happened the other day. So I'm going to use that example because this one's a little less clear for me. But so I'm going to Maui next week to host a retreat, and my son has 2 soccer games. And I noticed that I was contracting because I'm going to miss his soccer games. And so I immediately was like, okay, like what's the fear there, right? What am I afraid of? And it turned out that I'm afraid that he's not going to feel loved by me, but I felt like I had to hold on to some guilt that being a good mom meant that I had to feel sad for missing some of his games. And all that was doing was causing me to contract and not be an open vessel for love. And so applied to this scenario, it's like there's this conditioned belief that we have to feel a certain way, that we have to be angry, that we have to be outraged, that um, whatever our conditioning says, and there's a part of me that feels like I need to feel that way, that I can't
Yeah.
look at this and go, oh, this is for my healing, and I created this for my healing. And then feel relaxed. Like, it's hard to stay open, it's hard to stay in that place of love because I feel like I shouldn't be. I don't know if that makes sense, but that's
No, it
one of
makes
the
perfect
struggles
sense.
I've had today.
Well, yeah, especially when you have children, it's a big deal
Yeah.
that to reflect on why do I feel this way or what's going on here, that kind of thing. And you can feel in your body, and that's another thing is our body is communicating with us all the time,
Yeah.
right? And if once we get out of our head and get into our body, life is so much better,
Yeah.
so much better. Um, but yeah, I like what you were saying there because it's a teaching moment for everyone, including me, is to, and I do try to do this. Well, I'm not using the word try, but I do take the time most of the time, not always, to reflect in each moment of strife. When I'm
Yes.
feeling strife in my body and feeling like, ugh, reflect. Okay, why am I feeling this? Or is it okay to feel this? Because Christ tells me it's okay to feel the way you feel. That's
Yeah.
okay,
Mhm.
right? But make sure that you don't stay there too long. But
Yeah.
work through it and understand it like you were talking about. So that's the important part because we don't want to push our feelings down or emotions. We don't want to repress them. That's why we have all these layers to begin with, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. We want to make sure that we move through it.
Yeah.
And whenever I feel a moment of strife, for whatever reason, I ask him, how do you handle this? How do I handle this? Please help me, guide me. And he teaches me that we need to move through it, work through it, and then let it flow, like you were talking about. Just let it move through us. And
Yeah.
and if there's any residual, take care of it again.
Yeah. Yeah.
He does have one exercise that I wanted to. Is that in the forgiveness section, the lesson where he says, when you go to bed, release your day at night. When you lay your head on the pillow, release your day. He says,
I believe it is at the end.
okay. He says, I released this day and it was perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I love the what you said about our feelings, and this is later on in another lesson where there's a section about, feeling is the doorway to awakening, and that has been my indicator if I am contracting, because the whole book, and we're just in lesson 3, but the whole book, and it says right here, when forgiveness has purified the mind and heart and the emotional field of your own beingness, you will discover that you only exist to extend love. And so the way I see it is that I am a conduit, that my body is just a vessel to communicate that love. And if I am in fear, if I am contracting, if I feel it in my body, that's my indicator to say, oh, the valve has closed. And so
Right.
I go, oh, okay, like this is not, I'm not aligned with love in this moment, so therefore I'm not living out the reason I exist, which is to extend love. And so that's also what the book has done, is caused, going through this book for 3 times, it's caused me to really see that that's all that I'm here for, is to extend love. And that forgiveness is really the path, because forgiveness is, when we're not in forgiveness, when we haven't forgiven, that's when we're in fear. That's when we're in judgment. And the valve is
Right.
closed. We can't be the conduit for love to extend through us. So that diligence, the vigilance, he talks about it all the time in this lesson and throughout the whole book, that it actually is really, really necessary if we're committed to living out
Mhm.
our purpose of extending love.
Yes. Yeah. And he helped me remember that we are here to remember who and what we are, what we forgot, basically, and that is love and light. We're extending through our
Right.
physical vehicles. And our life plan is to, everyone's life plan is different. Our soul purpose is to remember who and what we are. Our life plan is how we get there.
Yeah.
That's our blueprint, how we get there, to remembering. We're remembering, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, there was
and
one.
and forgiveness is what frees us up to actually have that experience of remembering, and also to hear the guidance that is our human purpose, other than to extend love, and
Yes.
how to actually navigate. So I mean, forgiveness really is the key to all of this. And the Course in Miracles talks about forgiveness being our salvation and the atonement, which is
Right.
really what, all this is. And that sentence I just read really stands out to me for so many reasons, because I feel like it has everything in it. For when forgiveness has purified the mind and the heart, and the atonement talks about just the errors in the mind. And so forgiveness is purifying the mind. So our mind has made agreements, like you mentioned before. We've made meaning into things that we see, things that people have done, things that we've projected out. And as we forgive, we atone, we purify the mind
Hmm.
and the heart.
Yeah.
And and then he says, so forgiveness has purified the mind and the heart and the emotional field of your own beingness. So when you're purified, you'll discover that you only exist to extend love.
Yes. Yes. And he says, you are the savior of the world. And in
Yes.
each situation, your role is to ask the Holy Spirit how you can serve the atonement, the correction, like you said, the healing
Mm-hmm.
that yet needs to be acquired within another soul. I I realized during my awakening, when he was helping me with my childhood abuse and finding that forgiveness, because I'm like, how did I bring this? There's no way I would have brought that to myself, kind of thing. Those thoughts are running through my mind, and of course, and then that's when I had that epiphany where we did make that agreement, and there was nothing to forgive. So when you have agreements with people, situations, whatever the deal may be, you realize, why am I forgiving something that they agreed to do with me and for me? Why
Yeah.
am I asking for forgiveness or giving them for that? I don't need to forgive any of it.
Right.
It's part of the game, the play, the movie while we're here.
Yeah.
And he says the forgiveness, the bridge to the soul of your brother and sister. Um, there is first nothing you can be aware of in the energy of another that you have not known in yourself. And that's what you were talking about. There's nothing another can say or do, or even imagine themselves capable of saying or doing that you have not also known. Or else
Yeah. See it.
we wouldn't even be talking about it or noticing it. Just
Yeah.
to repeat what you were talking about. Yeah.
Yeah. And I want to pause right there because I do feel like it's easier said than done,
Right.
especially when we're looking at some things that are happening in the world right now. It's a lot easier to do if it's like, someone, spilled a cup of milk and you get mad, right? It's easy to be like, oh, I spilled a cup of milk, like and see it that way. But when you're looking at, assassinations and, concentration camps and kidnappings and school shootings, like that's really, our where we're at collectively, it's hard to own that as something that we that's us. And I had a coach one time really help me get a little further in that by saying it's either, something that I've actually done specifically or very similarly, or it's something that I say I would never, ever, ever do. So it's anything that I'm completely denying or disowning, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
So it doesn't
Yes.
mean like, oh, you're a killer. But if I have a belief that, oh my gosh, killing is so bad and that's the worst thing you could ever do and you're going to go to hell, like, then it's going to show up in a projection outside of myself to heal.
Yeah. If it's in our awareness, if there's something that we have given energy to, we've given energy to it in some way, somehow. And that's what brings it. And that's another Ho'oponopono teaching, which is exactly Christ's teachings, is that if it comes into your awareness, that means that you are a part of it, or that you brought it into your awareness for a reason. It's activated within you some way, somehow. It has
Yeah.
been another lifetime, this lifetime, in the instance of Charlie Kirk, who was assassinated yesterday, horribly on a college campus.
Mm.
Um, in front of 3,000 people, and he has a young wife, two little baby children. How can you not feel that horrible moment, you know?
Right.
And so when we do, it it also I feel strongly is it not just we may not have been I mean, we've all had many lifetimes where we experienced everything. We come here to experience everything, whether it is what we call the good or the bad. We've been soldiers. We've killed
Yeah.
in other lifetimes. I remember being a soldier in quite a few lifetimes. I'm kind of a warrior, and so stuff like that. So we killed.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, we've been killed. I remember we've all been killed. I have many, many memories of being murdered, tortured, things like that. And we left people behind. We've been the on the other end of it, where we were the young wife, the small children left behind. So we've done it all. And he teaches us that this is not anything we haven't done or experienced before. Doesn't mean that it diminishes it. It just means that we are in this realm where we're experiencing everything there is to experience. We don't need to judge it anymore. We can forgive
Yeah.
the moment. Doesn't mean we forgive, the person, so to speak, for the action. If it, I mean, any kind of
Yeah.
torture, that kind of thing. But blessing it and forgiving it extends that love. He says, "Love your enemies."
Yeah.
it changes the whole dichotomy. It changes the energy of the experience, and then the division starts. We start to become more whole again.
Yes.
That's how I see it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was looking for I don't know where it's at, but there is a part in this chapter where he does talk about, and I think this is where it gets confusing. It's that, this doesn't mean that you're condoning anything. It doesn't
Right.
mean that you're saying like, oh, it's okay to go and shoot people. Like
Yeah.
that's not it,
Yeah.
but he does say to see peace in the world, you must have peace within yourself.
Yeah.
And forgiveness is the way to do that, because we are pure spirit, we are pure awareness. And so while we feel like we're in these bodies right now and our consciousness is concentrated, we're actually pure awareness. So we have all of that, the past lifetimes being, this morning I actually had this, like awareness of like, I don't think I've ever existed in a body where there hasn't been war. And then I was like, oh, that's because there's war within myself. And it just
Mm.
popped open for me. And I was like, okay, there's my work. there's that's where my forgiveness work is in
Yeah. I
that.
remember no war, but not here on this planet.
Well, I've only remembered
Sure
like
there was.
2 lifetimes, so I don't know that many.
Yeah, I do remember lifetimes where there was no war, there was no strife in the higher planes, which we're moving to. We're moving into the higher
Yeah,
the Satya Yuga, the age of the
yeah.
golden age of enlightenment and awakening. We're moving into that. We're the Kali Yuga, which is the lowest vibrational yuga of the four ages in the Hindu teachings, which is
Mhm.
ancient teachings. Um, and there's information out there that Christ studied Hindu teachings. I do
Yeah,
believe he studied all philosophies and religions. Um,
yeah.
but yeah, so we're moving into this is what they call the age of Aquarius, the shift, the new age, whatever we want to call it, into the age of enlightenment and peace. And that means that things are going to come up that we haven't taken care of before. They're coming to
Yeah.
the surface. We can call it our demons. Our demons are coming up to the surface a lot
Yeah.
quicker, a lot faster than previous lifetimes. This is the lifetime we chose to clear our plate, so to speak. Yeah,
Mhm.
and so and the according to the research I've done, that the Satya Yuga lasts for 1,728,000 years of our years. So, but that doesn't mean it's all hunky dory during the whole. We're moving
Right.
up to the top of the mountain, and then we decline, and when we start another age, so we go through the whole cycle again, because there's four in each cycle. This is the first yuga, the golden age, and the age of enlightenment, and then we move into the next one, Treta, I think it's called, and then the next one, and then Kali is the lowest, the
Mhm.
one we've been in, that we remember
Yeah.
having many lifetimes in. That's why we always remember war. So yeah,
I'm
so it's
learning so much in this conversation.
so yeah, Kali is all about war and division and time of Christ came during the Kali Yuga, and so um, that's why he was here. That he walked the planet as Yeshua during the Kali Yuga. So yeah, and you see what happened to him.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. And we're like, the book says, the way Jesus explains it is that, it's coming up, but we're actually calling it to ourselves.
right.
And as you
Hmm.
were explaining that, it was like Oh, I just saw this picture. And actually, when in 2015, maybe 2016, right before Trump was elected the first time, I think it was Matt Kahn I was listening to, and he said, whoever wins the election, whether it's Hillary or Trump, is going to show where we're at collectively, because one is going to lead to a faster awakening than the other. And so when we look around at the government here in the United States and all things all over the world, there's so many triggers. Like I can't imagine, and this is the empowered point of view, right? That we're calling it all to ourselves. I don't think there's anyone that was not triggered from yesterday. And
Right. Oh, yeah. The whole world, basically.
yeah. And
Hmm.
so, like, if you can see it from that view that, oh, we're calling all of these so that we can, so we have those triggers, the constriction, the trigger to say, hey, there's something here to heal, then we're all on a path to healing, really, right? Whether people
Yeah.
take the trigger and do something with it, or they don't, the triggers are happening. And so we're going to
Mhm.
awaken collectively as well.
Yes, I agree. There's no way, we can't get around it.
No.
We've come here to create, to do it, to create
Yeah.
it. And because we have to, the
Right.
universe, the galaxy is moving into higher frequencies. We either go with it or we miss the boat.
Right.
Meaning we got to work on our stuff in the higher planes, which isn't as much fun, and it's our in the afterlife or whatever, because we need physical bodies. We need some kind of a vehicle in order
Yeah.
to have the experience that of expression, and with God moving through us, Source moving through us, the divine. We need some kind of a vehicle, or else we're just
Yeah.
kind of thought form, so to speak. We're soul,
Yeah.
and we just need some kind of vehicle in order to experience it.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
want to experience it. We're
Yeah.
experiencers. I want to experience all of it. That's why
Yeah.
Jeshua talked me into coming back, because, like I've said many times, I'd be upset with what we're dealing with, going through now, if I was watching it from the bleachers.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't have any actual memories, but I just know intuitively that, experience is the reason I'm here, because being in unconditional love for eternity is for my Gemini soul, it's boring. Like I need I need this stuff, I want this stuff. And I just want to say, like, what an empowering view, right? Like how different does this life become when you're looking at it from that view, and you're seeing, oh, I'm calling all of this to me, I'm projecting this
Mhm.
from the inside out so that I can have these experiences, and oh, also so I can purify my mind so I can wake up and also lead others to wake up. Like it's just
Right.
completely different than being in the world and being essentially a victim to, oh my God, this is what's going on and it's so scary, and what are we going to do, how are we going to navigate this? It's just a different view.
It is. It,
Fun one.
it totally. It's an enlightened view for sure, and that's
Yeah.
where we're headed. That's it's coming. There's nothing we can do about it. We can,
Yeah.
like you said, and it's we can either join in or be left behind. But
Yeah.
and that means leave the body and not reincarnate. Yeah, uh,
Yeah.
into this realm. So back to forgiveness. The number one thing I believe that he teaches us is forgiving ourselves.
Mhm.
Yeah. And like you said, oh, here, I circled this. You are literally creating everything you choose, and nothing is forced upon you.
Yes.
That's a tough thing to take for a lot of people, and me included. All right.
Yeah.
Nothing is
Yeah.
forced upon you.
Yeah.
Every moment is a decision.
It's a
Every
choice.
moment we decide
Yeah.
to do this, a choice. Yes. Every moment, every
Yeah.
single moment. So yeah,
Yeah.
nothing is forced upon us.
Yeah.
Uh, Um, of course, we could look at it as, okay, well, what about a baby being abused or something like that? Horrible, horrible thing like that.
Yeah.
You know, that's when I would sit with Christ and ask him, all right,
Yeah.
please help me understand this.
Yeah.
Something like
Well,
that.
in later chapters or lessons, he does offer that the Holy Spirit is the comforter, and we can surrender everything to the Holy Spirit and ask the Holy Spirit to translate it for us, because we can't translate it on our own. or if
Yeah.
we can't, right? There are some things we can, but there are some things that we can't. And I want to go and touch on what you said about forgiving ourselves. And
Yes.
I know that it was really hard for me to really own everything. But the whole idea that nothing exists outside of ourselves. So, you are me and I am you. And
Mhm.
so when we're forgiving someone else, like let's say I'm forgiving my mom, and what I said earlier is that I'm letting her off the hook from my projected perception. In letting her off the hook, I am forgiving myself, because that is a projection of myself. And
Right.
it also puts, and I don't know if this is in this, because I have the whole book in my awareness right now. But it's all the same stuff. So
Yeah.
uh yeah. And so I forgot what I was gonna say. So it's all right.
We're forgiving what we project on others. We're
Yeah.
forgiving that within us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that, like, it puts a whole different definition to self-love
Yes.
when we're forgiving ourselves, everything in our awareness, and extending love. It gives a whole new definition to what self-love is too.
Yes. Yes. And when we love ourselves, that is radiated around us and extended out,
Yes.
which is what it's all about. And so that transmutes everything around us. And we
Yeah.
see things differently. We're not triggered like we would be normally.
Right.
And yeah. Um, and we trust. We trust that the divine knows what it's doing.
Yeah. Which can also be a challenge through the early lessons. Uh, and for anyone who's not aware, this book is divided into three parts: the way of the heart, the way of transformation, and the way of knowing. And so by the time you get to the way of knowing, you have more to trust if you're just starting out. But yes,
Mm.
trusting that we are the divine, that we are one with Christ, that God cares about our happiness, that can be a challenge too. Just,
Yeah,
but when you have that knowing, it does make it easier.
it does. And I do believe that. I do believe that the divine, God,
Mhm.
source, infinite intelligence does want us to be happy, does
Yeah.
want us to be fulfilled. I mean,
Mhm.
if you kind of, I mean, all right. So I like to look at it this way: say that our body is the divine, right? The whole, the one. Okay. Each cell within our body is our different personalities that are on the planet, and everything that is combined within the whole of the divine, the universe, the divine multiverse. I'm not sure. I mean, I can't even expand that far right now, but all of it. So that's our body, right? Because we are as above, so below type of thing. Um, why wouldn't we, the infinite, our brain, the infinite intelligence within our body, want ourselves to be happy and fulfilled? Everything
Right.
that's within our body, why wouldn't we want that? But
Right.
something, maybe there's a cell that says, you know what, I want to be on my own and I want to do what I want to do. And, you know, for whatever reason, decided to have a mind of its own and say, I don't like that cell over there, so I'm going to kick that cell out of the way, kind of thing. So that's how I see it. Why wouldn't our source, divine self, who we are, expressing want us to be happy, we're the ones that are getting in the way of that.
Yeah. Yeah.
I believe. I mean, it's a very
Yeah.
simple way of looking at things, but
Yeah.
it makes sense to me. Why wouldn't you want your children to be happy and fulfilled?
Yeah.
God doesn't punish. God doesn't want us to suffer. The
Yeah.
divine doesn't want us to suffer and all of that. And that's why Christ is teaching us all this, to
Yes.
undo what we've been programmed in this matrix that we've been,
Yeah.
existing in for who knows how long, that we've come
Yeah.
back to play the game.
Yeah. I love that. I love that analogy. I've never looked at it that way before. And, I know for me and my journey through getting sober, recovering from an eating disorder, and in the first few steps, I've had to create a new idea of God. And so it was hard for me at first to really trust that a all powerful being cared about me,
Yeah.
because I when growing up, I made my parents my source. And so that was conditional. And I had a lot of, you know, I didn't have a lot of trust because there wasn't actually anyone in my life that wanted me to be happy, joyous, and free. Everything was conditional. And so in step two, one of my sponsors had me write out everything that I thought a best friend should be. And when I did that, she said, okay, that's your new higher power. And I was like, oh, and my eyes opened, and it's still been a journey. But whenever I think that, whenever I get contracted or feel like, maybe God doesn't want me to be happy, joyous, and free, then I go back to that and say, oh no, that's just that. And I have an opportunity to forgive what I
Mm-hmm.
created.
Yeah.
And move back into that space. And he, Yeshua does a really good job throughout the book, in different ways, reminding us how loved we are,
Yes.
how so loved and cherished we are, that we are the holy child of God, that we are the begotten Son of God, like just over and over and over again. And so even that, just going through this book is reminding us, like every paragraph.
Right. It doesn't matter what we've done. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what we think about the divine God, Him. It doesn't matter. We
Yeah.
are loved beyond measure. And yeah. And like I was saying earlier, I mean, everything is forgiven. All is forgiven. But it doesn't, when you're in that space of realizing, okay, this is all something, a dream that I dreamt, you realize nothing needs to be forgiven. Why am I asking for forgiveness when nothing needs to be forgiven? Right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that is, I believe, a huge awakening and a huge knowing that we can take with us into
Yeah.
the higher planes, into the afterlife, into the heavens, because then we're not being dragged down by guilt and remorse. Yeah, and the lighter we are, the further we can go, just like here.
The more purified we are here,
There
the
you
more
go.
we can be an extension. And I had this bookmarked, and as you were talking about that analogy, it came into my mind because it causes me, when we have these conversations, it causes me to feel like, oh my gosh, okay, how do I do this? I want to forgive everything, right? Like I want to be so open and be so the vessel for love. And in page 35 and 36 is where he does talk about judgment, and he talks about how
Mm-hmm.
the judgment is contraction and forgiveness is relaxation. And he does say in the second paragraph, this is motivation for me, and this is why I feel like I need to share it, because it says judgment causes the very cellular structure to break down. If you could see this, you would never judge again. When you judge, even the cells of your body go crazy. They vibrate in a completely dissonant way. and there's contraction. The fluids do not move through the cells. The nutrients do not become transported or delivered to the cells. The waste matter isn't processed properly. Everything gets clogged up and there is dis-ease.
Yes.
So it's like, keep the valves. That's, keep the valve open. Let everything
Funny, I
move
have
through
that
you.
paragraph circled. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Totally. I mean, forgive everything. We need to forgive everything. And it does, again, it doesn't mean that we're condoning anything or
Right.
condoning the actions. But it's about us. We hurt ourselves when we're not in a constant state of love and forgiveness. And gratitude is another one, which that's probably in another lesson. Of course it is. But
Yeah.
but yeah, I
Well,
love
and
that.
soon
Judgment
too,
is
I think, go ahead.
I was just going to say, I love that. Judgment is contraction. Forgiveness is relaxation and peace and trust and faith. Forgiveness allows the spaciousness within your consciousness to grow. When you look upon the thief that has broken into your home and say, I forgive you, you are decreeing the opposite of what you've learned, what we've been programmed with.
Yeah.
You are decreeing that nothing can be taken from you of any value. You are decreeing that judgment is the opposite of what you want, and it will cause you to feel the opposite of how you want to feel. You're decreeing your power to perceive differently. You're therefore healing yourself. And I've seen people, clips of people that forgive someone for perhaps, and this has happened. I've seen it, murdering their child or something like that. And I want to cry. And when that happens and you're in that moment with that person, and you see that and feel that, I mean, wow. What a extension of love that you can't even describe. And it heals everyone, everything, and everyone around it. That's it within that moment. That is that awareness.
Yeah, I was going to share my experience because that relaxation, that love is, it's a feeling that is it's all satisfying is what it is. And when I started out with this book, with this work, what I learned was that the baseline I had created for myself was fear, stress, anxiety, like that contraction. I was contracted all the time. And when I started to really do this work and forgive and allow and, let it go, I learned, oh, no, love is our baseline. Love is our
Yes.
baseline. So now it used to be I was contracted all the time, and when I felt love, it was like, oh my God, that feels so good. I want more of it, but I couldn't. It was hard to get more of it. Now it's more like, okay, love is my baseline, and ew, that feels yucky when I'm contracted. Let me get back to love. Like, let me get back to that, because it does. It's just it's whole. It's complete. It's satisfying. It fulfills everything without having to seek or search or grab for that feeling.
Totally. It's natural. It's who we are.
Yeah.
We're remembering. Yeah, and it takes work as well to be in that space and remember that. I love that what you said, that's our baseline, because that's who we are. And the reason that we default to the ego and the pain and the hurt is because it's heavy. It brings us in, what is it? The squeaky, what is this? The squeaky link gets the grease or something like that, because it's heavy and it's screaming the loudest, and it's the one that gets our attention. The lower mind is called the lower mind for a reason, and it's because it's heavy and it will bring those heavy feelings and all that. And we think that that's the way we should be, and that's normal, but it's weighing us down. And love is light. It's light, and it lifts us up. And so we're so used to the other in this realm And that's why it takes work. And that's what Christ came here to teach us, is that when you look at it in a metaphysical, quantum, scientific, whatever way, our emotions are heavy, and that's energy. Our thoughts are energy. Emotions are energy. Just weighs us down, and we're like, that's what gets our attention.
Yeah.
So love transmutes it, light transmutes it.
Yes.
And he taught me that 20 something years ago, is whenever you're feeling something that we would call negative or anything like that, imagine it being released from your cells, from your body, and being transmuted. Just see the heaviness and the darkness leaving you, and then see it being transmuted into light.
Yeah. And you can feel it. You can
You
feel
can.
that. I mean, it is such a difference from contraction to that relaxed forgiveness, love feeling. It's just like,
I know, right? That's what I just did.
yeah. And so, one of the last there's an exercise, but before that, it says reactivity indicates the need for self-forgiveness. So, I love talking about love and that state of, pure bliss and knowledge and intelligence. But because we've been so conditioned to, resonate with that heaviness, because our minds have been so conditioned to put meaning and project onto everybody, I'm always looking for, okay, how do I get back to love? What is the fastest way back? And so when we're reactive, when we're contracting, when we're judging, when we're anything less than happy, joyous, and free, that's an indicator for us to know that there's something to forgive. And it can be instantaneous. We don't have to do magical modalities. We don't have to, spend years doing inventories, which I did, and it was very helpful in getting sober. But we can do that instantly. We can instantly and forgive.
Right. Yes, we can. And we get better at it the more we do it.
Yeah. And actually he says that in the book as well, that, there's a point where the vigilance and the diligence is because there's so much. And it will seem like you're getting better and better, but it's really just that you want more, right? Like I just want more. I don't like it when I feel contracted anymore. It's like it's more like mud on my skin. Like I used to have this pride about having a high pain tolerance, and I'm like, why was I? No, I don't want to have a high pain tolerance. Like, get rid of that, And so now it's like, oh, when there's a little bit of contraction, I'm like, ew, that feels yucky. I don't want it.
Right. I love that. Yes. Well, I guess women do have a high tolerance because of childbirth, but but yeah, good stuff. Good stuff. And I wanted to read this real quick. He says, "Beloved friends, your life in italics is your way home. If you do not live it fully, how can you ever arrive home?" And we're like, what? What do you mean? Makes sense. But we have, a lot of times we have such a struggled life that we're like, I just want to go home. But this is really good stuff here. Therefore, fear not your greatness. Fear not the power that comes from embracing your life and claiming its value. Live it full out. Live it full out with every bit of passion you can muster. Embrace every second of it. Every time you wash your dish and your cup after breakfast, look upon those things and go, my God, this is my life. This is my pathway home, and I'm going to live it. Right?
Yeah.
It's the small things. He even says in the beginning of the study, it's simple.
Yeah.
It's really simple. It's just we've been so used to being a certain way and living a certain way and programmed that it's a it's a reprogramming, deprogramming, remembering.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Unlearning, remembering It's way more
Right.
simple. We complicate it, but it is
Mhm.
very simple. And the reason we exist is to extend love.
Yeah.
Like that's
In the
it.
story.
And we can't do that if we're holding on to judgments and not forgiving. So forgiveness is our salvation. Forgiveness is the path, and it will lead us home. And we do that
Yes,
by
it will.
living our life. So
By
it's
living
like
our life to
not
its
be
full.
afraid, right? Like I'm not afraid to contract. I just notice it and then I'm like, oh, okay, like let me surrender this. But we don't have to be afraid of our life because when we contract, we
No.
can immediately let go.
So what's going to happen? We're going to contract. We're going to get bad
Yeah.
news. Something's going to happen to us. Somebody's
Yeah.
going to cut you off in traffic. And you're like, oh, and then
Right.
that's when I'm like, okay, I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. Or whatever. I love you. 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 And it works.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
works. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, fake it till you make it. That's what he told me. So it's like, oh, I feel so much better. And
Yeah.
it works. Anything that gets you in strife contraction,
Yeah.
that's your time to take a deep breath and set it straight.
Yeah.
Uh,
And
and it
I,
does
I
get
want to
better.
share what
Uh-huh.
is a quick path for me. And he does say this later in the book. So, but I'm going to share it now because it's just so powerful. So given all the stuff we've talked about today, that nothing in our experience is outside of us, that we've called it all to us for our healing, whenever I feel contracted, I just say, this is the perfect situation for me right now. And it's the perfect situation because I'm noticing that I'm contracting. My purpose is to extend love. And so this is an obstacle that's in the way of living out my purpose. And so I can let it go. I can forgive it. And this is the perfect situation for me right now. And as soon as I say that, almost instantly, I'm like, and I have that relief and that relaxation back to love.
Right.
Mhm.
Yeah. That's good. I love that because the more we fight it, the more contracted we get, the
Yes.
more we resist. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally.
Yes.
All right, my friend. Well, this was awesome. And it's about time for us to close this talk about the power of forgiveness.
Yes.
Um, let's see here. Is there any closing quote we can bring? Uh, here's one. When anything comes up that we feel contracted with, right? Like you were sharing, same thing. He says to say this to yourself, same thing you were saying. So I'm just going to reiterate. Okay.
Yeah.
I judge you not. I extend forgiveness to myself for what I have created. I embrace you and I love you. And I free you to be yourself. And I bless you with the blessing of Christ. Yeah.
Amen.
Amen. And so it is. So also we want to announce that we are having a free, for now, study group on the way of mastery.
Yes.
The study materials starting
September 30th.
September 30th. Okay. And we would love for you to join us. We do ask that you have a study guide. It doesn't have to be in hardcover. I think it's on Kindle
It
and
is on
also
Kindle.
on
Mhm.
Audible. Okay. But we
And
do
there
ask that.
is on YouTube, there is a series where you can listen to every book.
Okay. Good, good. Just as long as you can go through it with us and you have it in your life is what we ask, whatever form that you prefer. Uh, I have it on Audible and the study guide. And there's a fourth book called The Way of
Yeah.
Service as well, which is a little skinny one, which I have. And so, but I haven't read it yet. So September 30th, check out both of our websites. We have it on our websites and hope you'll join us. I will have details in the description.
Yes.
And I'm really
Please
excited
join
about
us.
it. Yeah.
We're wanting to share this. So if you feel like any of this resonated with you, or you feel called to come back to your heart, please join us. We'd love to have you.
Yes, definitely. And how could it not resonate, for one thing? And Christ will be there with us. Christ is with us.
Yeah.
When we do this, we can feel him. He's with us.
Yeah.
He's asking all of us to get together and move into the age of enlightenment with us, for the Christ self.
Now is the time.
Now is the time, present.
Mm.
All right, everyone. Thank you for being here. Thank you, Christina. So awesome to see you again. Okay.
Yes. Awesome.
And enjoy your life. Bye. I'm Sharon Kumara, and you have been listening to Awaken Soul Radio on Transformation Talk Radio. I invite you to embark on a transformative journey with us. Awaken Soul is a safe, sacred space for exploring the depths of our consciousness. Each episode, you will be inspired to shed the illusions that bind you, connect more deeply with your inner wisdom, and step into a liberating life of freedom, clarity, and purpose. To connect with me, visit kumaraacademy.com.